The princess has gone missing, and Hidden Springs needs your help. She's probably snuck out again at night in search of the fabled Fountain of Youth. Apparently, it'll make you younger, but most Sims say it's complete nonsense. They keep telling her these fairy tales don't exist, yet she just won't listen to them. Can you help save the princess? What's up guys, Rakowski here, and today we are judging and rating all of the builds here in Hidden Springs. Before we get started, if you like fresh content on the older Sims games, then please don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more Sims content. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Also, don't forget to check out my community tab where you can have your final vote. There's only 2 worlds left. Which one would you rather see? Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Well, here we are back in Hidden Springs, and it's also my first video with 10,000 subscribers, so thank you so much. I just wanted to get that out of the way, but yes, welcome back to Hidden Springs, where all the rich Sims have flocked to, apparently. Like we saw in the first episode, there's lots of mansions, but there's also this kind of like countryside area, and this is usually where I end up playing, so a lot of the houses over here have been pretty new to me. But not all of them, because like I said before, one of my favorite ways to play Hidden Springs is with Dina Caliente as a gold digger, so I have seen a couple of the mansions, and one of them we are gonna see this episode. I don't know, I'm excited. Are you excited? Let's jump in. First up is Seaside Mansion. Oh god, this looks pretty much just like one of the other houses we saw in the last episode. Oh, it's right over here. See, over there, the perfect family house. So it's the same kind of shape, except this one's in a yellow. Personally, I actually prefer the yellow, especially when the sun's hitting it really nicely. Look at the back here, I like this a lot better. But yeah, overall, like the shape is still like a gigantic box, not really my favorite, very much EA style, especially with the bunch of mixed up windows all around the shell too. And I do want to point out the jerkin head roof on these builds. I mentioned how I wasn't really familiar with this roofing style. I had seen it before, but I didn't know that it had a name and everything. So this is a jerkin head roof, and this build is actually doing it pretty well. Unfortunately, a lot of the other builds, they had the hipped part here sticking out one more tile, and it made it quite ugly. But fortunately, some of the houses did it right, but looking at the garage, it doesn't always work out and look pretty, right? Anyway, just because it's real doesn't mean I like it, so let's just jump inside and see. Okay, the first thing I notice is this textured carpet that goes all the way down the stairs. I actually don't hate it. I almost hated it, but as soon as I looked at it, I was like, you know what? It's something. A classic EA dining room with absolutely nothing in it. We have a half bathroom here, and they've accented the blue kitchen with green countertops. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if it's that green. It's more of just a wood, but it does skew a little bit green. But they did use a kitchen sink, so that's something. Oh, they definitely used green for the living room, unfortunately. I don't know about this pattern. The EA loves to use this pattern, and like, I think it's fun and funky, but I don't know if I'd use it for a couch. I actually like the upstairs a lot better, and I usually end up playing in the upstairs a lot because I have big families. This family already has 2 kids in it. I really love the girls' room here. Minzy's bedroom, I love it. This office is also like really nice. It's modern, black and white stripes, a little bit basic, but it doesn't skew too weird. And over here we have kind of a nice master bath. I like the bathtub being in the middle. It's kind of ritzy. And this is Hidden Springs, and this is a seaside mansion, so you would expect something ritzy, but coming back outside, now that I remember that, this doesn't really scream mansion to me. I think details like the pool outside and the decks and everything are kind of nice, but overall, I don't think it's very affluent. I don't think it screams mansion. I don't think it screams rich family either. Just because it's a big house doesn't mean it's a mansion, right? And this is like the EA style anyway. They do like big bedrooms and big bathrooms, even for poor Sims. So it doesn't skew either way. I don't really know how I feel about it. I do like the yellow though. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna give it a 6. A 6, oh my god. But I did like some of the choices inside too, so I was cutting it a little bit of slack. But there's a lot more mansions in Hidden Springs, let me tell you. So let's see what we get next. Next up is Shue Place. And this Sim here is Granny Shue. You may recognize her from the trailers and stuff. So basically her story is that she never had any kids of her own, so she just adopted a bunch. And she's the second Sim that I've noticed has that green tinge to them. So as we can see, the green Sims are usually living in the more like forested area. And her cabin is very pretty too, like very simple shape, but like all in the little details. I love the little gardening. I love the colors of it. I like how the roof matches the colors. That's really hard to do. She has a little garden. It's not too big, so it won't get that overwhelming. And yeah, it's a small lot, so I'm not sure how she fits all these kids in here. I remember this house being really small, so let's just jump in and see. Yes, so very minimalist. This actually reminds me of those little Simsy like 8 Sim houses she tries to make into a tiny house. Going into the kitchen, very basic, unfortunately has a bathroom sink, but I like how they put the dining table kind of right in the middle. You don't necessarily need a separate dining room. The living room is very small and compact as well. Very Sims 4 101, my goodness. And the children's bedroom just just has 4 beds. There's no toys or anything for them to do. There's like a single swing outside though. And the granny's bedroom is just very simple too, like only 4 tiles wide, can just fit her double bed. And I know the style and colors don't stand out, but the one thing I will say is that this build is very cohesive, like looks very realistic besides how clean it is. The woods don't necessarily match, but they don't necessarily clash either. I like how each of these bedspreads is slightly different and they're all in kind of fabric-y textures. Even her comforter, they look like they've been washed for 10 years and stuff, you know, like it's just all in those little details. I love stuff like that. Even if it's not necessarily pretty, I would have appreciated something a little bit more exciting in the bathroom though. Like how there's that wooden tub in The Sims 2 or something. I don't know, but coming back outside, it is missing a little bit of charm, I must say. It's very simple, nothing stands out as ugly, and that's usually what puts me off of EA builds, but for this one, they didn't quite do enough. I did like the little details, I like the lot as a whole, but I don't know about 4 kids with no toys. I don't know. It's still pretty good and pretty good for Hidden Springs. I'm gonna give it a 7. I gave this a 7, my goodness, but you know what? I believe in giving credit where credit is due. And we can give it a 7 as long as we ignore that indoor light used as the porch light. Oh no, EA screwed up once again. Next up is Solitary Haven. This house looks really similar to the last house, and a few of these I guess are in the same style because they're out in the countryside. This house is actually one of the furthest out there, which I guess makes sense, Solitary Haven. It has a really big yard. I like the backyard fence around it because it kind of sections it off. EA doesn't always do that, and I do like how they included a pond and stuff and like a little outdoor space, but it's not too complicated either. Actually, a lot of these houses are kind of nice and simplistic out in the countryside. It's just the mansions that are too much. Yeah, because as you can see here, it's like the end of the road, right? Yeah, I don't know, so far so good. Kind of pretty, kind of the same though, right? Let's just jump in and see. Ooh, this is kind of cohesive too, but in a very different way. It's very muted, like lots of pale woods, pale greens, pale colors. And to be honest, if you're gonna make a greenhouse, you may as well do a pale green. A diagonal living room, very typical of EA. They have the single chair at the dining table, which symbolizes that he's a loner. He better be a loner, let me just check. He's not, he's just unflirty, a bookworm, a hopeless romantic, dislikes children, and grumpy. Well, I mean, you may as well be a loner with those traits. Oh wow, they used a kitchen sink, that's nice. I don't know about the bathroom though. I don't like this tub when it's not against the wall, because then you have like these pipe things, and they stick out like this, but if you put it into the wall, it hides them. I don't know about the bedroom, to be honest. The bedroom doesn't scream like old man to me. I like the alarm clock, but I don't like the dressers with the flower on it unless he had like a wife or something. I don't know, I guess he can have flowers. Anyway, coming back outside, I guess it's okay. It's just like too short and simple too, because like you can only go so far with cabins. And we've had a few nice cabins already, and this is probably the weakest of them, but at least they stayed kind of to the concept. It doesn't stand out like a sore thumb, which is really good for an EA build, but it is a little bit underwhelming. Like I get the idea. I just think it could have been a little bit more. Ooh, Kyle's walking around. You might have just seen him. Anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna give this one a 5. A 5, yeah. I can't give like too many high scores for these cabins unless they like really blow me away with something inside. And a few of the details are missing, like the little like wood on the corners, you know? So, I don't know. Let's see what we get next. Next up is Style Center. Style Center, oh my God. The first thing I have to point out is this abominable roof. Why is it so tall? Why is it so wide and it wraps all the way around the house? You know what? The house is a little bit too big and that's why the roof ended up like this, but they could have shrunk it down a little bit. Now that being said, I actually adore the pink color. I think this is the best exterior pink that we've seen. It's very Sims 4, which is not always the best, but it goes really well with the foundation, with the black railings and accents and the windows. And since it is so big, there's room for everything. So she has like a telescope, an easel, a barbecue, lounge chairs, but it is too big. I would have definitely shrunk it down. Now this is one of the houses that I do remember because I always make friends with this lady. Her name is Anna and she ran out of creative ideas, so she moved out to Hidden Springs in a big ugly house, I guess. But yes, I'm excited to show you what's inside. So let's just jump in and see. Now, as we can see, there is definitely a style direction here, and personally, I love it. I know not everyone's gonna love this house, but I certainly do. I love these geometric pink and black couches. I love it even on the zebra print rug. Usually I don't like zebra print. Going into the dining room, everything is great except for the orange chairs. I noticed how they try to offset with this little bit of orange. I would have just made it all pink personally. Unfortunately, over here we have a green bathroom, but it's not that bad, and it's kind of like a little bit of a gaudy green, you know, like sparkly, and it's got like a pink chair there too, and at least she has a bathtub shower combo. Going into this black and white and pink kitchen, this reminds me of a house I built for my sim Destiny. Just absolutely perfect. I love the color. This shade of pink is perfect. My goodness, it's excellent. Okay, let's go over here. Now going into the bedroom, I do love me a fancy bedroom, and this bedroom does not disappoint. I love the bed, I love the sofa, I love the desk. Oh my God, the computer is leopard print, pink leopard print computer. Oh my God. Well done on the detail, EA. Let's go over here. Here she has like her own closet area and stuff. It's got the houndstooth chairs, the zebra print rug. Perfect. And then going in here, here is probably my favorite bathroom that we've seen so far in Hidden Springs. I think it's a little bit big, but maybe just the right size. Got the bathtub, the shower, a half wall sectioning off the toilet. I think that's really nice. The toilet paper roll. It's got everything really. I don't know. Coming back outside, this house does not disappoint on the interior, but tragically on the exterior, it's a little bit weird. But to be honest, it looks like a Sims 3 house, and it kind of looks like a Hidden Springs house because a lot of them are big and bulky, so it slots kind of right into the hills. But it's still not great. I would have cleaned up the roof a little bit, but the inside is really nice. And I don't know if I like any houses in Hidden Springs as much as this one, so I don't know. I'm gonna give this one a 9. But yeah, that's it for one of my favorites, so I don't know. Let's see what we get next. Next up is the Sustainable Oasis. This house is actually really pretty. I don't think I've seen this one before. I really like it. It's kind of like a stepped up version of the last house. You have the same fence around the perimeter, but this is clearly more like a lake mansion. I love the pond. I love the landscaping. I love the bridge to the gazebo. Very pretty. I'm not usually a fan of brown, but these browns look really good together. I like how they balanced it out. It doesn't look too bad. And they chose gabled roofs instead of hipped roofs, which I think is a really good strength of this build. I think too many of the builds here have that like little detail with the hipped roofs. And for once, EA did really well with window symmetry. I like the back, I like the sides, I like everything about it. It's a little bit close to a mountain, so I keep getting thrown up here with the camera, but other than that, it's pretty good. Ooh, they have a little garden too, and the Sims 2 cheating trees on the porch. Oh, I love it. Okay, let's just jump inside. Ooh, inside's got a pretty little palette too. I like it. Lots of like soft colors, not too many that I dislike, but let me point out the one thing I don't like is this rug. God, it's ugly, but other than that, everything else is pretty good. Going in here, a little family room with like the couch and the 2 chairs. Going over here, this bedroom is pretty simple, but I guess it's not too bad. This bathroom is also a little bit simple. They tried to decorate it, like they have like the magazine rack, they have the towels, the toilet paper, but I do like when they do like little half walls or section it off a little bit. I actually really liked in Monte Vista when they had those platforms for the tubs. Going over here, we have more of like a media room with like the stereo and the TV and everything. I don't know how I feel about these dining chairs, but so far everything looks pretty good. Fridge and the stove are next to each other, typical EA style. Okay, let's go upstairs. Okay, going up here, we have this hideous bedroom. I was not expecting this. Oh, the first thing I noticed was this camo print computer. So I saw the leopard print computer, now I see camo. So it's not really getting better, and I don't like the color palette of this at all. Going in here, we have basically the same bathroom copied, but with slightly different colors. I guess it's not too bad. Another gym. This world has so many gyms, my goodness. Oh God, it's getting greener as I go. Why is the upstairs so green? Let me zoom out. Okay, well at least there's one nice bedroom. Let's go in here. It has a green bathroom attached to it though, but whatever. These woods are nice. I don't know how I feel about a rug on top of a carpet. That's a little bit weird. And these textures have nothing to do with each other once you get up close. Oh, it's tragic. I don't like the upstairs at all. Is that it? Oh, it is it. Oh no, there's nothing else to redeem it. Okay, whatever. Let's just come back outside. This is a unique situation too. Like I kind of really like the outside. I was really shocked. And then when I went inside, the first floor was pretty good. But as I made my way upstairs, it's all those things I don't like. Green bedrooms, green bathrooms, texture on fabric on fabric. You know, EA's favorite things. But coming back outside, I am reminded how beautiful the shell is compared to a lot of the other stuff. So I do have to give it a little bit of bonus for that. But it's not a 10. I don't even feel comfortable giving it a 9 after seeing the upstairs, but I guess we could do 8.5. 8.5, my goodness. Are we even gonna get a 10 in this episode? I don't know. I don't have too high hopes. The only other mansion that I remember is not gonna give us a 10, I'll tell you that. But there's only one way to find out, I guess, so let's go. Next up is the fun house. More like the fugly house. My goodness, what is EA thinking with this roof? See, this is the jerkin head roof I was talking about that I don't like when EA does it. See how the hipped part is sticking out one more tile? Why does it have to be like that? And I don't know what's so fun about uneven windows, but I guess these umbrellas are a little bit fun. Actually, looking around, the back is much stronger. I really like the pool area. I like how it's up on the platform. I like the umbrellas, the lounge chairs. Like, it's not perfectly even either. It doesn't look like a Sims build. It looks like someone's back porch. So that's always really nice. But yeah, the house itself, not my favorite. And there is one thing I'd like to check. Oh, and yes, I'm glad I did, because if we look up here, there's those little handles like where like you screw open the window and closed, but they're on the outside of the house, not the inside. Okay, well, that's about that. Let's jump inside and see how fun it gets. Okay, well, the inside's a little bit fun. It actually gets a little bit more fun as you move towards the back of the build, it looks like. The living room is a little bit normal and basic and boring, but not super ugly, which is nice. The bathroom down here, nothing really much to say. A lot of the builds here are a little bit like, you know, Sims like empty. you know, like very like gridded furniture and everything. I would like to see it mixed up a little bit. And by mixed up, I don't mean like a diagonal couch. The office is kind of nice. You have like awards up here, a fish bowl, a couple different computers. At least there's no weird pattern on these computers. I like how one's a pink laptop. I think that's like a really realistic kind of girly computer. When I was in university, everybody had those, and that's when this game pretty much came out. So now I've been waiting to talk about the orange kitchen because I'm still not sure how I feel about it. I certainly like how they went for something. I don't really like the counters. I like the pots and pans hanging overhead. I like the espresso machine. I just wish the counters were white or gray or silver or something. It's just a little too orange. You gotta be careful with some colors. Like green, because then you end up with this bedroom by accident. My goodness. But over here we have a nice bedroom. I really like this one. I like the pink. I don't mind this draping overhang, but I wish it wasn't this shade of blue. But other than that, it's fine because like the carpet is blue and everything. And again, they have a rug on top of the carpet. I don't know. I've just never seen that in real life before. Because like, see here, there's like a rug where like there's actually like a wooden floor. So that I like. And if I go over here, I see a foosball table. And this is kind of like giving me deja vu. I'm gonna have to go back and check this, but I think this floor plan is copied from a different house. If not, it's very similar because I remember this exactly. Oh God. Okay, coming back outside. I don't know what's so fun about this house, but EA seems to think so. But you know what? To be honest, I really had fun making fun of it. And it's not all bad. I did like the back porch. I did like the pool area and everything. And I liked some of the choices inside, but not all of them. Again, like how do they do this so well? They do like the hit and the miss all in one build. But honestly, I've seen worse and it was more fun than some of the other houses, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 6. A 6, my goodness. And I usually play the Calientes in this world, but like this is like two girls who are friends. They're not sisters, but at least they've known each other since they were children. So maybe I'd want to play them instead. I'd certainly want to renovate the house first, but who knows? Next up is the Hideout. Ooh, it's very white picket fence, middle-class suburban dream of the 1950s. Ooh, I love it. Unfortunately, it's in the middle of nowhere in Hidden Springs. It does kind of blend in though, and I'm glad they did something that was different from like a regular brown cabin. They had to break it up a little bit, but what this really reminds me of is a Sims 3 starter house. I haven't really gone over the unoccupied starters, but it's giving me that vibe. EA likes to draw a square with like a bump out porch and that's it. But looking around, I really like the landscaping. I like the little pond in the back. There's a little bench out here for you to sit. And they don't always pay attention to details like that. Sometimes they'll just put a bench near nothing and it just looks kind of ugly. But yeah, nice landscaping too. Who knows? Let's just jump inside and see. There might be a surprise. Honestly, I'm pleasantly surprised. This is much better than a typical EA starter. Usually the colors inside of EA starters are really bad, particularly in The Sims 3, but I really like the wood in this one. I even like the offset with the green and the furniture. The kitchen's a little ugly. I don't know how I feel about this fridge and this stove color, but it does kind of give me like a little more country vibes. I can't speak for Hidden Springs, but like where I am in more like rural environments, a lot of times they have like older furniture and like older appliances because it's like grandparents or something, right? And the bedroom is actually really pretty. It's a little smushed, especially for The Sims 3, but she does live by herself, so I guess it doesn't matter too much. The one thing I would have done is like kind of turn the dresser over to face this way, but other than that, it's fine. Yeah, and a simple bathroom. Not much else to say about this one, but I must say I am pleasantly surprised. The outside is a little bit pretty and the inside's a little bit pretty. And a lot of times for these smaller houses, they don't really put in a lot of effort. But overall, pretty good. I can't give it too many points, but I will give it a little more credit because it has like the windows facing in the right way. Nothing jumped out as too ugly or too scary to me, which is a really nice surprise. I don't know. I'm gonna give this one a 7 as well. I'm giving 7 to all the small houses, my goodness. And usually in these worlds, I have to reward like ambition and stuff, but for this one, they're doing lots of big ugly mansions. So I'm gonna reward all the little details in the smaller houses, I guess. What do we got? Like 5 left? I don't know. Let's go see what's next. Next up is the Treasure Trove. Okay, this is pretty as well. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I think the second episode of Hidden Springs is proving to be a lot better than the first one. If you look over here, it's next to the Alto house that I reviewed in the first episode, and it's a very similar shape, but like way better in every way. I like the colors better. I like the roof better. I like the windows better. Honestly, everything as I go all the way around the house. I even like the backyard better because it's got like the fenced in pool. It's got the gazebo. See, it just seems like a stepped up version. And I'm glad that they're next to each other because you can like really tell what I'm saying. See how this one had like all the weird hipped roof pieces? This one doesn't have that. It has a better balcony, better backyard, better everything. And I think it pretty much speaks for itself, even though I haven't stopped talking for a minute. Okay, let's go inside. Inside is pretty good. I'm not hating the wood color. It's a little bit of a bold choice. I do like the statue kind of right in the middle. It's very ritzy. In typical EA style, we have an empty dining room with nothing in it except for the table and chairs. I kind of like the lounge area except for that big ugly bookcase I don't like, but I really like the color of these chairs and this sofa. Very, very nice. And it goes really well with brown, but as you go over here, you have like the other living room and it's just like 3 weirdly contemporary sofas fixed next to a fireplace that doesn't make any sense. They should have just made one grand lounge with like a nice fireplace and stuff. Oh my God, a third living room. It's like 1, 2, 3 living rooms back to back. My goodness. Over here, we have like a minty green kind of kitchen with a weird blue trim on the wall. I don't know how I feel about the wallpaper, but the kitchen itself isn't too bad. A little bit small though for a house this big. I think they could have done it a little bit bigger. Ooh, going upstairs, we actually have some harmony for once. So I really like the palette here. I like the bluish greens and I like the indigo-y purples together. Very nice. And in this bathroom, we have like the perfume on the counter, the floral sink, very nice, lots of detail. Oh, and here we have the same thing. See, just like, you know, adding like little bits of detail to a bathroom can make it really nice. Over here, we kind of have a simple bedroom. I don't like this wallpaper though. I don't like the stripes going up and down. The Sims 4 has that. And the biggest bedroom is probably my favorite. I really like the colors in here too. I don't know how I feel about a teal leopard print sofa, but I guess in The Sims it's fine. Up here we have copies of the chairs I liked from downstairs, and over here we have a little computer area with a teal laptop. Oh, I wish I had a teal laptop. I also wish I had this many perfumes. My goodness. Okay, coming back outside, it was nice, but it wasn't great, to be honest. Like, it's definitely a step up from next door, but like the inside, again, I don't know, it had lots of things I really enjoyed. I really liked the colors. I liked how the whole thing kind of went together. Little details I didn't fully like, but the outside, again, super exquisite. And the more I think about it, this is probably the best house that we're gonna see in Hidden Springs, but I can't give it a 10. I'm sorry. I'm gonna give it 9.5. 9.5 and only a few more to go. I don't know. We haven't seen the Royal Mansion yet, which I keep hinting at, and it's getting closer and closer. So let's see if there's a shred of style left in Hidden Springs. Next up is traditional chic. I'm not quite sure if it's either of those things, but let's give it the benefit of the doubt and take a look around. Again, nice landscaping, nice shades of brown. Oh my God, it's next door to the other house that we just saw. So you have the big ugly blue alto house in the middle, the one I liked, and now I guess the one I'm gonna like a little bit less. It's still better than some, but it's got that same bulky shape that I don't like. It's got the same roof I don't like. I honestly prefer the brown. I've seen this shape in like pink, I've seen it in yellow. Brown seems to be the best. The windows are a little bit all over the place in typical EA style as well. Yeah, going around, I don't like it. I'm kind of uninspired, and we've seen a lot of these before, so and you know the good stuff's always on the inside. So let's just pop in and see. Ew, I just seen the ugliest wallpaper ever. Look at this. So it's like baby poo, yellow, a different green, and pink. Interesting. But if we ignore that hideous wallpaper and we look around at the rest of the house, it's actually really nice. I like everything else. I like this room. I like the pink on the couches and chairs. I like where the TV is. I like the plants. I like the decorative end table here. The kitchen is really nice too. This is a really nice wood. It's hard to get these wood swatches to look nice in The Sims 3 sometimes. Even this wallpaper is nice. It kind of like blends with the curtains, but only in like very subtle ways. They didn't have to make the whole thing rainbow. Over here is a nice little half bathroom, a little bit empty, but I guess that's fine. And EA's favorite empty dining room. Why does it have 8 chairs? That's a little bit too much, I think, for this sim, but I guess it is kind of a mansion size. Actually, looking at it with walls up, I love it a little bit less, but who knows? I don't know. Let's go upstairs. I guess you could argue the same with any house. Going into the bedroom, it's really nice. I don't mind the wallpaper, even though it's vertical stripes. They did that a lot in this world, unfortunately. But I much prefer the end tables, the bed, the chair, than say some of the other bedrooms we've seen in this world. Ooh, I really like this bathroom. Remember how I was saying how I liked when things were up on platforms? Well, here they have the tub here and the shower and toilet here. It's on wooden planks. I think it's really nice. I was gonna complain about paper towel being in the bathroom, but I always have this here too because I'm always cleaning my bathroom. I have a lot of neat points. Ooh, I like how the little overhang here, you can see over to the front door. That's really ritzy as well. I always like to see my guests before I descend down the staircase, but looking over here, we have a beautiful white bathroom and an ugly green bedroom, which is very typical of EA, as we know, right? I don't know. Okay, so coming back outside, we certainly do not have a 10, but we definitely have a better effort than some of the other things that we've seen. I think they took the ugliest shape that they came up with and they made it as nice as they possibly could. Inside, especially that first floor, love the walls, love the furniture colors, everything. Moving upstairs, it got a little bit worse, but again, this shell is still in this bulky, weird square shape that I do not like. But if we look up at the top here, they actually have the windows in the right way, so we don't have like the inside handles on the outside, which is nice. To be honest, I was kind of thinking 6.5, but after seeing that, well done EA, you corrected your mistake. I'm gonna give you a 7.5. 7.5, how nice of me. But I think now I'm just more on the generous side because of how poorly the first episode went. We had some doozies then. And I'm kind of in the mood for one more before we go, so let's see if we can get a big piece of ugly. Next up is Ultimate Family Retreat. From map view, it looked really big and ugly, and up close it kind of looks like that too, but not as bad. I really wish they used a different color. I don't like this kind of like brownish black for the top. I don't know, it's just not a very like appetizing color in any way, but at least they have this bridge to the gazebo here and the gazebo's kind of floating on this pond, so that's kind of nice, kind of hard to do as well. I rarely touch terrain editing tools unless I'm in Create a World. And one thing I do want to bring up is the exquisite detail here on the flooring path. This is terrain paint, and there's little bits of terrain paint of dirt on the sides of the terrain paint. That's really hard to do. So well done, EA. I can see the effort. And they seem to line up some of the windows too. Unfortunately, the house is still pretty big and ugly and has a little bit too much balcony space. But yeah, let's see what this single dad mansion has in store. Okay, coming inside, it's not too bad. It's a little bit of a rainbow mess. You have like green, yellow, blue, like teal, but you know what? At least it's all in one section of the color wheel. The living room, don't really have too much to say about it except for the fact that the teal and blue do not go together. I would have just picked one of these two colors and went for it. This green office is okay, a little bit too empty. This bathroom is yellow. I don't know how I feel about that. I think I'm just getting sick of it. Oh my God, the kitchen's a little bit weird, but I do love the colors. I love how this blue counter goes with this orange floor. Very nice. They're not colors I would normally pick, but they do go really well together. And I like how they separated off the kitchen with a half wall. In this world, everything's been too boxed up, you know? In here, the dining room has an end table with a plant, which is a nice surprise. Well done, EA. Okay, let's go upstairs. Okay, so the upstairs is a little bit flat, but like very functional. I do like all the colors together, especially at a distance, but it's a little bit hard to tell the rooms apart. That's one thing I would say, but they did put a little bit of red in this one, a little bit of bluish in this one, so you actually can separate them a little bit, I guess. I don't know, it just looks a little bit too gray for me, right? Like a little bit like not colorful enough. And in fact, I know it's like a single dad and his two kids, so it shouldn't be like a big rainbow mess. Maybe they did use the right amount of color. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too bitchy, but they certainly didn't for the outside. Coming back out, I really don't like the color of this. I don't like how big and bulky it is. It's just too dark, right? And like Hidden Springs is like bright and like colorful and like got lots of green and lots of water. It just doesn't really suit the idea. I don't know. I would change it to something else, but not too bad. I've seen like way worse. And this is actually like a really big functional house, which is kind of hard to do in The Sims. So I don't know. It's almost there. A few too many problems though. I'm going to give it a 6.5. 6.5. My goodness. Yeah. And next up, we actually have like the royal palace of Hidden Springs because there is a royal family hidden within the lore. Welcome to the Vanderburg Palace. So here we are at the royal family of Hidden Springs' house. So let's just jump through this. The fountain in the middle and the landscaping, like the driveway and everything, very nice. This house is actually very reminiscent of the land grab mansion, but actually done a little bit better if I'm honest, despite the ugly roof, which we'll get to in a second. So this is usually where I call home in Hidden Springs. Usually Dina usurps the throne and takes over this house, and I live for it. They have a nice gazebo in the back here. It's not too far from the house. Same with the pool area. It's kind of off to the side here, but not too far away. I like the rounded edges. I like the funky shape. Like it's not a rectangle, but it's not too crazy. Sometimes EA goes a little bit too far. And yeah, looking around, just like the landscaping as a whole is very nice. It's also like right next to the river here, so it's a very nice lakefront property. But yes, I kept alluding to this big ugly mansion, and this is what I've lured you into. So let's just jump in and see what's happening. You know me, I would never move into an ugly house. So yes, this house actually really reminds me of the land grab house, especially if you look at the floor plan from a distance, but it also reminds me of the way that I renovate the Sunset Valley house. So if you look in the dining room here, it has this ugly yellowy gold, which the land grabs actually have all over their house. So I usually turn it more into a white house. And if you zoom out, that's kind of what they did here. So going through the dining room, it's the ugliest room in the house. Let's just ignore it. But going over here, you have a nice little study. You have an urn. Going over to this side of the house, it's more of like the family wing because you have like the bar, the music, the lounge chairs. You have dual shower bathrooms here, so that way you can shower before you go out to the pool. That's a really nice detail too. God, I love the colors over here. Just zooming out, I know it's a little bit rainbowy, like orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, red, but it looks really nice. And going upstairs, they have like the tacky yellow that I don't like on the landing and on some of the walls. But if you zoom out again, like the bedroom areas are really nice. This whole area is gorgeous. And this whole area is gorgeous, even with the treadmill and even with like the dual chrome bathrooms. I don't know, it's just very my ritzy style, like very white, marbly, tiley, kind of like pristine, because I would only have a white house if I had someone else to clean it for me. But yeah, coming back outside, that big ugly jerkin head roof that so many of the builds here have. But if you pair it with the landscaping and the layout of the mansion and like everything done, I think this is the only time it's gonna happen. Everything does kind of come together, and when you do play with walls down, it doesn't really matter with the roof. I don't know, I've played in this, I've loved it before, and looking at all the builds now as a whole, this is definitely the strongest. I'm gonna give it a 10. Well done, Hidden Springs, you pulled it together. Even with its problems, I don't hate it. On the inside, it's really hard to pull off affluence, especially with the Sims 3 color wheel, and they did a pretty good job, I must say. So I don't know, take it or leave it, and you can leave me a comment on what you think, but this is the best house that we're gonna see. But there's still one more left, so let's jump in. 10. And last but not least is Woodsman's Getaway. By the name, you'd think it's in like the rural part on the other side of Hidden Springs, but this is in fact kind of close to some of the other houses. Unfortunately, the lot kind of overlooks that ugly style center house, but you know what, who cares? Looking back, it has that same style where the first floor is white and the second floor is an ugly brown that I don't quite like, but as a whole, like the landscaping is pretty good, lots of details in the terrain paint. You can definitely tell that like a few of these houses were built by the same person, like same style, even if they weren't copied. But this shell is a little bit been there, done that, especially for Hidden Springs, very, very typical, but at least the windows and everything are all balanced and it's not so ugly, right? It's kind of Simsy style, so I don't know, let's just jump inside. The inside palette is actually very nice. Look at this. Very muted palette, but not very white, like little hints of blue everywhere. I don't mind it. I like the decoration in the dining room, which is a nice change. The kitchen's got the checkered floor, which I don't love. I don't know how I feel about the space between the fridge and the stove, but I don't like them next to each other, so maybe that's their response to it. This bathroom blue wall, this is a gorgeous blue. I want to copy this blue for my builds. I don't think I've ever said that about an EA house. Over here, we have a very textured wall. It kind of makes me a little bit dizzy, but as long as I'm not spinning around too much, I guess it's fine. I was gonna say it looks like Houndstooth, but it's not quite, but the chair is Houndstooth, my goodness. Okay, going upstairs, it wouldn't be a single man's house without a foosball table right in the middle, my goodness. But he's got all the other things that I would actually want, like an instrument, an easel, a computer, a stereo. Actually, that's all I really need to be happy. And one thing I will say is that this bedroom is super dark. There's just one lamp in the corner and everything is painted black. So I don't know how I feel about that, but it's a nice change, I guess. But he's not a vampire or anything, right? I don't know. And if you go out to his like balcony, he just has a telescope, which is something that I usually do on my balconies, and I usually punch myself for it. So I may as well give them crap too. Yeah, coming back outside, like honestly, the colors were really good. I was very shocked. I love the palette as a whole on the inside. The outside is very like typical of this world that I don't really enjoy, but I did like it. And I know I'm getting like a little bit easier on the builds as we go through, but I really do think we saw the ugliest ones in the first episode. A lot of the really bad choices they made were amplified by other bad choices. And in these houses that we saw for this episode, they only picked 1 or 2 of the bad choices per house, which was nice. But yeah, I don't know. This house is a little bit simple. I can't go too far with it. I really liked the inside though. I'm just gonna do what I was doing with all the other nice like small houses. I'm gonna give it a 7. Another 7, my goodness. But at least the average of Hidden Springs has been pulled right back up. I think in the first episode we had 2 2s. That was really bad. But at least we have a nice pleasant ending to Hidden Springs. I don't know. I enjoyed it. Well, that does it for the rest of the builds in Hidden Springs. What did you guys think? I was much more impressed with this episode than the first one, I'll have to say that. I just felt like I was just too thrown off by all the jerkin head roos. They didn't do any of them nicely, and we got such weird things like that big ugly pink family house. But as I've said before, like my favorite part of Hidden Springs is actually the more like remote area, which is here with all the cabins and like the wood and everything. And as I've said before, like the world as a whole I really like. I love the rich green grass. I love the hills and the mountains. It's kind of easy to get around too, and I don't notice any routing problems with this one. But as always, let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Do you like Hidden Springs? Were you impressed with the builds, or have you never seen any of this before? I know some of these are really expensive, and honestly, I wouldn't own all of them if this wasn't my content. But maybe this one's worth getting on sale. Who knows? But yeah, that about does it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe for some more Sims content. And this kind of is your last chance to vote on the world. So far, Oasis Landing is going to be our second last one, and we're going to have to end off the series with Barnacle Bay. But if you want to see Barnacle Bay first, head over to my community tab and have a vote. I only close the polls once I start filming the next episode. And I'd also like to thank everyone once again for 10,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for the support. And of course, as always, a special thank you to my dedicated Simmers for making this episode possible. You guys are the best. See you in the next one. Boom.